I'm so sorry. So sorry, Jakob said repeatedly, taking far too much time given the exploding craft around him. Henry's shoulder froze, body solidifying from elbow to forearm to claws, until the whole appendage stiffened and the sensory tentacles stopped moving. Jakob leaned forward as an invisible weight suddenly pushed on his skull, a pressure from the center outward. He looked at Henry, only their head and neck remaining, eyes closed, but tilted his way. Jakob knew what to do, what Henry wanted. It was the way their species passed on generational knowledge during their final moments. He let Henry in. And several seconds later, Jakob absorbed information, secrets, devastation, all of the things that Henry saw and felt while Jakob had been captured. And a number. A 16-digit number that could change everything. Go, Henry managed in their unearthly voice, before the crystallization process inched upward, eventually taking over their entire head with a sparkly dead texture. Then his friend collapsed, their transformed body falling apart like a sandcastle imploding under its own weight. Henry's remains scattered, spilling everywhere and getting between Jakob's toes. When he turned, he felt it grind beneath his feet. But there was no time to mourn or be disgusted. He needed to go. But where? Jakob sprinted, checking all corners and hallways. But whatever had happened before he had come to had caused the ship to be evacuated, mostly ransacked of anything useful. At a hangar bay, his captured, half-wrecked mech sat, stripped of any useful tools. The only thing intact was a decryptor, a tool for espionage, not escape. That wouldn't help here, though he grabbed the device anyway. Technically, a neural encryptor/decryptor, and looked for a way out. In the corner, a holographic interface flickered on and off. That just might do it. A closer look had Jakob laughing at his luck. The half-functioning interface was the ship's compressed matter transporter system, something he was familiar with, since the Seven Bells regularly scavenged them from downed-awakened craft. He craned his neck up at the too-tall interface next to him, fingers flying over controls he understood just enough to operate. It hummed to life, a low vibration nearly eclipsed by the ongoing rumbles of various decks exploding above him. A white glow signified it was ready to fire him across space. Him, and the knowledge he'd stolen. But what destination would provide safety until the Seven Bells could recover him? A star chart glowed in front of him, and the vast pool of space lay at his fingertips. One of those tiny dots represented a chance. He just had to figure out which one. Fast. Jakob scanned the possibilities, already tensing for the brutal gauntlet of compressed matter transport. An invisible bubble sealing around the body, then throttling it through a newly generated wormhole that collapsed upon exit. He needed somewhere safe, somewhere primitive that the awakened would completely overlook. Only then could he track his fleet without putting them in danger. Solar system upon solar system whirred in front of him, the options coming and going until he paused at one choice. One obvious, hilarious, completely impossible choice. Earth. The place he'd departed 15 years ago. Jakob zoomed in on the image, examining its projected rotation. Pure dumb luck handed him a win here. They were passing through within 3 light-years, perfectly within the edge of the transporter's radius. The holographic light pulsed, indicating the system was ready to go. But what if the awakened chased him, captured him again? He could hide his body, yet his mind still represented a risk. Specifically, the device implanted in his head that connected him to the Seven Bells command fleet, activated only when speaking the right words.